Hello friends, how are you doing? What a time to be alive, what a time to witness, and witness within ourselves as well. I did say that I would be doing a little sharing about masculine and feminine aspects of healing, and how they all kind of interplay, and just a real kind of like realignment back to yourself. And what I speak of is the way that we may put certain healing modalities on pedestals, we may put certain people on pedestals, certain lineages, and what's really interesting to notice is what happens to our souls when we do that. What I mean is that when we're in a state of urgency or dilemma, we're kind of feeling lost, we reach out, we have this kind of like these tentacles, like I need to find the next thing, I need to find the thing that I need. And the thing that you need is imprinted inside of you. So we all have in our souls a self-healing capacity, a self-healing aspect, the part of you that knows what it needs to become healthy, to become well, to become empowered, whatever it is that's your journey. And there's been a common pattern to have like the more robust or absolute modalities that, you know, we put our faith in systems and people and ways of being. And very often what I find when I do soul journeys is that we lose ourselves to that. I often do soul retrievals of operations, of accidents, of crises where the soul has been reaching out and got lost. And it's so important that whatever you're doing, you know, whether you're having an operation, going on medication, whatever therapies you're working with, that you're bringing and inviting the healing modality that you're choosing to meet the self-healing potential and capacity within your own heart. And what I mean by that is, and this can happen at the beginning of relationships, it can happen when we put things on a pedestal and we think, I can't do this, I need to give this to you. This is too much, I'm handing it over. And we don't necessarily do that consciously. We're not necessarily aware that that's happening. And we'll spiral around months or years later and we'll go, I haven't been the same since when? Oh, since I was ill. Since I started taking those tablets. Since I started putting all my faith in this thing. And a real litmus test of a healer, a modality, a medication, a medicine, allopathic or plant, is, am I feeling empowered, energized, happy, calm with this healing modality that is going to harness and support me into my highest and best future? Or am I bowing down to it and losing myself because I'm putting all my faith into a bottle, a modality, a person, a belief system? And I'm talking as someone who has been on all sides of this. And it has got ethical implications. You know, there's huge ethics around, like, the language we use to describe the wellness industry, you know, the language we use to advertise things, and you know, the processes that I use in my shamanic practice are, it will be extracting any false system, belief system, thought forms, entities, all of those things, and you know, whatever has come up for that person, anything that isn't the truth of their soul. And then there's a realignment process, and then that person is re-empowered back with their own energies and their guides and their allies that want to come through at that time for the light. You know, there's never any bargaining, there's never any putting your faith in something other than you. And that is correct. You know, that's the correct form. Trees and plants do not seek validation. Temporarily, when they're ill, they are given boosts and reminders and the nutrients and the wisdom that they need. And then they go back to their own homeostasis, their own equilibrium. And what often happens in some medications, for example, is that the body has what we call physiological adaptations. So you start taking a medication and the body adapts to the medication, which means that more medication is needed. And equally, if somebody's putting themselves out as the expert, the only person who can do this, and I've heard this, it diminishes the knowledge base and the wisdom within of the people interacting with that energy, and that is not healing, that's not empowering. And I feel we need, you know, much more reminders about, like, what does it feel to be in touch with the healer within? What does it feel like to be in touch with the intuition and the guidance from within? Because when we know that, when we feel that, everything else will either be welcomed in, yes, you can help me, or no, because you're taken away from my power. And that's just something I want you to tune into today. And just that reflection with the water systems of the earth, they flow into one another and they energize each other with the tributaries, and it's like a self-healing organism, and the body is a self-healing organism, and the soul will spiral back to events to heal them, you know. So think in the spiral and the closed system, and that you have it, and welcome everything else into your system. Acknowledge and really honor the system that you are already, before you do anything. And I think, you know, some people call that self-love, and some people call that know thyself first, physician, heal thyself first. But when all of those things are lined up, the physical, the self-healing capacity of the soul, you know, you're powerful beings, you know, and really feel that. Really, really feel that, because that is the truth of who you are. I hope that resonates. Lots of love. I'll see you soon.